clean set. I watched a video from the guy who directed Shazam. He's very active on YouTube, actually, and he was talking a lot about one of his scenes, the scene where Shazam learns to fly. Have you seen Shazam, the movie?
Yeah.
So you know the scene in Shazam where he's learning to fly and he goes into he's in like the mall and he like goes to run and he's like,
Yeah.
That bit. He was like, we were so focused on getting the actual shot of him flying and like getting up and going off. They did it with like a group of guys that literally lifted him up with a blue screen and like a fork that holds him up. It was really cool.
What?
He was like, we were so focused on getting the rig to work that we didn't even notice that there was a bunch of crew members in the shot. But yeah, so he just gave them all like shopping bags and like he made one of them a janitor. So he's got his like little thing with like his mop. And it was really funny because he showed the comparison and the VFX is not very good, but you don't notice it in the shot because it's just... It's a passing moment and you're so focused on Shazam.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done.
That is insane. I'm definitely going to watch that again.
I'll link that video in the description because I found it really, really cool.
That remind me of a thing, an interview I think I saw with, what's his name? Is it John Krasinski?
Yeah.
Yeah, who did A Quiet Place?
Yes.
He was breaking down the scene of when they're in the house and the kids are playing Monopoly, and then like the lamp falls over and there's a fire.
Yeah. That's such a good scene.
Yeah, and he was like something like that where he's just explaining how in one shot just before the lamp gets knocked over, it shows it in shot and it's like it takes up probably 50% or 50% of the shot. But you don't even notice it's there. But he was like, he's called it like loading the gun before it goes off, sort of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And like you don't notice it, you subconsciously probably do, but you don't know it's going to do anything or anything like that. And then all of a sudden it falls over.
Yeah, your brain just registers that that's an object in the shot.
Yeah,
right. The guy from Shazam also talked about something in the film where how your continuity kind of changes depending on this, like the set and what you're doing on the day. And he was saying how like in the film originally when Billy runs away and the parents go out and like go to chase him, all the kids come outside in jackets and he was like, originally they were all going to be in the window, but then our costume department was like, well, whatever they're wearing at this point in the film they're wearing for the entire movie, like for the rest of the movie, because immediately after this the villain shows up, then the villain takes them and then they go here and then like whatever they're wearing now is it.
Yeah, right.
So he was like, oh shit. So he had to like bring them outside, but then the exterior of the house was an actual house and the interior was all shot on a soundstage. And one of the kids that plays the actors couldn't be there, was working on another show when they did the exterior shots, so she couldn't be there, so they had to just have 3 of the 4 kids outside with their jackets on, and then they all go back inside, and then they had to come up with a reason why she wasn't outside, so they were like, she's still tying up her shoelaces because she's slow, haha. And then they come back inside and he was talking about it in the video, he was like, man, I don't even realize why no one questioned this, because everyone keeps their jackets on, no one who leaves their jacket on when they come inside?
Yeah.
And so they all just walk inside and leave all their jackets on. And then he was like, and then it ended up being like some really nice payoff because like she ends up being the fastest one. So he was like, oh, it actually kind of worked out because she's like starts the slowest character and ends as the fastest one. So haha. And I just found it really funny because he was like kind of going against that whole thing of like super deeply analyzing films.
Yeah, wow.
He was like, it was literally just like our costume department said, hey, dickhead, you've written the script badly. And then they fixed it on the day and then worked it out. And then it just kind of became the rest of the movie.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And just how the girl couldn't show up. So they're just like,
So they were just like, oh, well, we have to figure something else out now.
Wow. That is so good.
And then after they like cut the film together, he realized that there was like a solid amount of time between that scene and the next scene. So it totally would have been believable for them to just have put a jacket on.
Right.
And it was like, well, I mean, whatever.